Hello. Hi guys. Today we are going to make this giant roast and then we are going to slice it up for roast beef sandwiches since the weather is so hot. I love saving some money, so I buy huge cuts of meat and then I will cook them myself and then we will slice them on the deli slicer for eating as a deli meat. Right now, roasted beef, just like if you go to Walmart, is $13 a pound. This was usually $6.19 a pound. It was actually on sale for $5 a pound, and that's because the sell-by date is coming up. It was on special. So this is, 7.82 pounds, and it is a cut you may never have heard of before. It is a boneless clawed heart. Yeah, no, it's not heart. It's not gross. This is a shoulder cut. They call it the heart because it's the center of a shoulder cut of a beef. So this is from a cow. So I'm going to roast it in my oven today. So we're going to go ahead and just get it out of this bag and do a little trimming, but not too much. You know, we like fat. Fat is flavor. We are going to be using an internal thermometer. I find this is the best way for me to cook. This is a weird looking one because it actually came with my oven and plugs into the oven itself. So you may have one of these that you've thrown into the drawer and never used before, but we're going to use it. We're going to show you how to use it today. So really quickly, we're going to get this bad boy ready to go. We're going to throw it on a rack in my heavy enamel, cast enamel roaster with a roasting pan. I like that best. Season it with just salt and pepper and throw it into the oven. We're pretty early in the morning because it's going to be nice and hot today. So yeah, let's get this going. All right, so we got her all trimmed up. This particular cut of meat is often used in place of brisket, like slow smoked, slow roasted. So it has a bunch of fat on it. I probably cut off about a pound of fat, but I am leaving, enough on to give it flavor. I consider that enough. You could render this down and save the tallow for a different use. You do whatever you want with it. All right, so now let's get to salt and pepper. I have a nice kosher salt here. I like it because it's a flake. It lies flat on the meat. Rock salt would be, a small rock salt would be really cool too. And then I have whole peppercorns that I ground down myself. I like a thick pepper. See how thick that is on my meats. So I just grind it down myself. Plus it's cheaper than buying it pre-ground and you get better quality pepper because they can't hide any stuff in there. So I heavily pepper, I lightly salt. This is going to be in the oven for quite a while, so I don't want to really go too overboard. But I'm going to go ahead and salt this. I have to do all the sides and then flip it over and do the back. Then we will put it in here if it'll fit. And if it won't, I got to back up. So yeah, let me get back to seasoning, and I need both hands for that, so hold on. All right, we got her all seasoned up, both sides and on the ends and such. So I chose to go with this pan. It is a little too small, but if you remember, this side was taller than this side was, so I tucked the kind of the tail piece underneath. It's evening it up a little bit more, which is going to help it cook more evenly, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put my thermometer in that I plug into the wall of my oven. So we want to put it in horizontal to the ground, and we want it into the fattest part of the meat. So I'm thinking right there where that kind of natural cut is. Nice. Another reason why I'm using this, other than the fact that it goes with my oven, is that the way this works in my oven is that once this reaches an internal temperature that I want, which is 135 degrees Fahrenheit for medium rare on a roast, a large beef like this, the oven will turn off. So if I am not, usually I use like this kind of a thermometer. I've got a bunch of them, right? And if I'm outside or something and I get distracted, you hear an alarm go off, you turn it off, and then you continue doing what you're going to do because you think you're going to be back in, and you'll just take care of that in a minute, and then you forget. So the oven will turn off on itself on its own. 135 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature I want this to be inside when it's fully cooked. But while it's cooking, I'm going to actually pull it out at 125. And the reason why is when it sits, it'll rise at least 10 degrees. So I'm going to put the temperature on there for 125. The oven will shut off. Of course, it's still going to be hot in there. So I'll try to come in immediately. But if I don't, it's not going to be ruined. Gosh, that was a long explanation for something that didn't need that. Let's put it in the oven. All right, so I do have my oven preheated to 350. And unfortunately, when I use the probe, it has me do a different set of instructions. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to do more options, delay proofing, keep warm, meat probe, insert probe. So now I need to open up the oven, and we're going to put it on the shelf in there and insert the meat probe. This is always the scary part because it's freaking hot in here. All right. To the oven, and then my meat probe plugs in right up here. I hope you can see that past my hair. Close, and then I'll finish the instructions. All right, so meat probe, it's asking me what temperature. I want it to stop at 125. Bake or convection oven, I'm going to bake, and 350. And it's already going to be there, so it's only going to have to preheat for a few seconds, so it'll stop at 125. And yeah, we'll come back in, well, several hours when it's done. I like cutting on that parchment paper. Well, not cutting, trimming on it, because it makes cleanup a lot easier. But again, you're using raw meat. Remember, I've got a 10%, or actually it's a 20% bleach solution that I keep in the kitchen when I keep it in here at all times. So I'm going to go ahead, rinse this down, or spray it down, and I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and then I'll clean it up. So anyway, good hygiene, good practices. Secondly, I wanted to mention that I am doing ribs today as well, so all of this is going to get used up today. I'm doing 3 full racks of baby backs, so this will get used up. Because I reach in with my salmonella covered hands and put it all over the meat, this will all get used up. What doesn't get used up gets tossed. So there you go. So just keep your surfaces nice and clean. All right, we'll come back when the roast is closer to done. Okay, so it's been several hours later and the probe has ended. This time is not correct. We had a power outage anyway. So yeah, let's look. Let me pull that out and put it up on the counter. All right, so we've got that out. Now I'm going to just let this sit so it rises that final 10 degrees to 135. And then I'm going to actually let it cool because we are going to slice this into sandwich meat, like I said. I'm going to leave the probe in here because if I pull it out now before it's done rising in temperature and then starting to fall again, then all those juices are going to squirt out of there, and we don't want that. We want to keep them in there. So anyway, that's how easy it is. And yeah, let's take a look at what this looks like when it's sliced up.